Alright, Climate Rate Mechanic here again, and I wanted to do an updated video on headlight restoration, the preparation you need to do in protecting the headlight after you've done the prep work. I did a video about a year ago, one of my actual beginning videos first on YouTube here, and I wanted to update some of the methods I used in that video. There seemed to be a lot of controversy around, well, there is a lot of controversy around the types of system to use, and especially how to protect the headlights when they're finished. And also, not all headlights are really created equal, and each one should be addressed in a different way depending on the severity of your oxidation or the yellowing or cracking of the clear coat. So there's a lot of different things that can happen to these plastic headlights, and depending on your case scenario, you can go about these a different way. So we're going to touch on all that in this video. Also, I'm going to give pricings on the different methods and what it takes, and I'll be referring to this video a few times as to the preparation that goes into it, because as far as that goes, nothing's changed. Everybody online and everybody I know that restores headlights professionally, they go about the preparation pretty much the same way. It just depends on the severity of your oxidized headlights as to the steps you want to take in that preparation. So let's get right into it. All right, first off, let's talk about how bad your headlights are. Worst case scenario, worst case scenario is if your headlight protective coating is starting to peel or chip, like in this example here. Basically, if that's the case, then you're going to have to do the complete preparation, basically starting with a 500 grit sandpaper, moving to an 800 grit sandpaper onto a 3000 grit sandpaper, and then when you get done with this 3000 grit sandpaper, you're going to have to buff that out with some kind of compound just to get the light scratches out, and then we would go on to the protecting. But there's a bunch of different videos out there on YouTube. You have the toothpaste and toothbrush method. You have the mag wheel polish method, which we'll talk about a little bit, and the toothbrush method. Those two are they're kind of the same concept. They have an abrasive in the compound, and basically all that's doing is it's almost acting like a light sandpaper, and then it's leaving like a buffed polished look. WD-40 is obviously, to most people obvious anyway, a temporary, almost just a greasy look. It's going to give it a wet, greasy look, which is going to wear off extremely fast. So probably the least effective way out of all these is going to be the WD-40. Now, if you have just lightly oxidized headlights and the protective coating on the light is still good, and you don't see any chipping or cracking of that protective clear coat or layer, a lot of instances you can just use 8000 grit sandpaper, just to lightly basically smooth that surface out, and then you can polish it without actually using a protective coating, providing that one is still intact. Rather than ruining the factory protective coating, you can just kind of renew it and get that looking fresh again until it does start to deteriorate. Obviously, the more material you take off that, the less time it's going to last. But when it comes to that point, you can always go through the full step of 500 grit, 800 grit, 3000 grit, and then you're going to polish it, and then we're going to add the protectant. But let's look at the prices of these different products. We're going to look at the toothpaste, the mother's wheel polish, and all these other crazy methods people out there are using. So we're going to flip over to my computer real quick and take a look at that. Alright, so here we have it. We got the WD-40 toothpaste, mother's aluminum polish, the wipe-on headlight protectant, headlight polish, spray clear coat, which also seems to be like a pretty popular method, headlight restoration sandpaper kit, which you can get on Amazon. It comes with, I think it comes with like a 200 pack. You get anywhere from, I think it goes all the way from like 200 to 5000 grit maybe. I'd have to double check exactly, but it comes with a nice variety of sandpaper that you'd be able to do the preparation method pretty easily. And then you have the actual kits you can get on Amazon, which I'd probably recommend the 3M headlight restoration kit out of all of them, or even the Meguiar's. You can see I got the stars next to the ones I would use. Um, that range about $10 to $20, and that comes with if you, providing you get the right kit, it's going to come with the 3 different levels of sandpaper along with a polish. But it's not going to come. It's going to come with a UV protectant, but that's not the way. The best way to go about protecting these headlights, as I've come to the conclusion too, and primarily is what this video is about, and to make sure that the headlights are done properly, and I'm giving out good information that's been tried, true, and tested, and come to find out that UV protectant, it does work, but it takes a considerable amount of, I'm talking about like the wipe on kind or the buff on kind, it takes a considerable amount of maintenance to keep up on, because you're having to reapply that pretty frequently, and the amount of wear and tear the headlights go through between road debris, salt, and the sun and all that, it just eventually takes over your headlights. And typically, if you're just applying UV protectant, turns out you really only get about a year or two before your headlights are going to be back to that real dull or yellowing look. So we had to find a different protective method that is going to work for a longer period of time. So as we go down the list here, then we got the clear vinyl protectant, which is also a pretty good option, although it does take a little bit of work and a little bit of skill to be able to cut the vinyl out properly and be able to get it to lay on there properly and look good. But providing you can get it on there and you want to take the time to cut it and fit it and make it look nice, this vinyl clear seems to be one of the top options for some people. And the videos out there the videos made on applying the clear vinyl seem to have gotten pretty good feedback. I've done a lot of research into this before I did this video, just so I could relay all this information onto you guys. Meguiar's headlight restoration kit, very similar to the 3M restoration kit. Really, it's at your own discretion. You may want to just take a look at both those kits and decide which one's for you. But honestly, if you don't want to buy a kit, all that these kits really consist of is the sandpaper and the buffing and protecting. And you don't need the protectant if you're going to go with a more permanent protective solution, whether it be clear coat, vinyl protectant, or a ceramic protector. So and then down here, this is what I have found to be the ultimate protective method, and this is a nanoglass ceramic coating design especially for polymer headlights. Now there's a bunch of generic stuff out there. I mean, I've looked on eBay and they have a bunch of gimmicky so-called ceramic stuff, and from my research, it's exactly, I mean, you get what you pay for. So this product right here is $49, but you can get 5+ years out of your headlights, and it requires very little time and very little skill. It's just a wipe-on product. So basically, you go through the preparation. You're going to do the 3 different levels of sanding, or 2 levels of sanding depending on the severity of your lights, and then you're just going to wipe on this ceramic protective coating. And this is, in my opinion, superior to any other method. But to some people, I still believe they would choose a vinyl protectant. But in no way do I still would I still promote the spray clear coat. Now, from the factory, after doing some research, finds out a lot of your factory headlights do come with a spray-on style clear coat, but these are all done by controlled environments with computers and to a perfect degree. So when you put human error and skill level involved to actually be able to clear coat these, and the extra work entailed, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and you don't want to ruin your headlights unless it's something you're used to doing. You can come across things like running clear coat or orange peeling, and or it even not
being prepped properly and the clear coat not sticking, or a chemical reaction, or buying the wrong clear coat and having it affect the plastic. There's just so many different variables here, and if you're a DIYer doing your headlights, clear coat really just doesn't seem like the way to go for me. And also, once it does start to deteriorate or you get chips or cracks in the clear coating, then you have to sand all that off and start again. Or if it gets damaged while you're actually applying it, you got to start over. So there's a lot of work involved in that. And if you haven't done it before, then it's just doesn't seem like the risk outweigh the reward on that. And then finally, you always have the option to get them professionally done, which usually costs around $120. But what I have found, if you are going to pay somebody to do them, you probably want to find out what exactly they're doing. And from my experience, they're going to do it just like in my last video. They're going to do the 3-stage sanding, they're going to do polishing, and then they're going to add a protectant, which is just like a waxed style UV protectant, a wipe on or a buff on protectant. So pretty much the only thing I have changed from my previous video is the protectant method. Basically, if you want to spring for the $50, I'd be applying the ceramic coating afterwards, or you can apply the clear vinyl. There's plenty of videos out there on how to apply these two. Now, let's take a look at my headlight restoration video real quick, just to show you the preparation process. I'll probably skip through this a little bit here, but let's see. Okay, yeah, see, so here we have the 500, the 800, 3000. This is the lens and hard plastic cleaner. This is basically the buffing compound that gets out the scratches afterwards. Like I said, I'll leave links to all these products below. If you were to do this yourself, basically what I would recommend is I would just buy the sandpaper you need and this right here, the lens and hard plastic cleaner. So you're just gonna sand it out, and then you're gonna buff it with this lens and hard plastic cleaner, and then you're gonna take like a paint surface cleaner before you apply the ceramic coating, or even before you apply the vinyl, or even some kind of alcohol wipes or something to get all the grease and oils off that plastic surface before you apply that final protectant. And then, as you can see, we just tape off the headlight here. This is how all the professionals do it too. We're going to add a plastic all around the outside just to make sure we don't get any of that compound or stuff on the customer's vehicle. So in this picture here, we get all taped out, and we basically have it ready to start sanding. And we're going to wet sand it here. I usually just have a water bottle that I keep the headlight wet with, and we're using a power sander. You don't have to use a power sander. You can do it by hand. Obviously, a power sander is going to be quicker, and we just have the 2-inch disc here. And we're just going to progressively go from one sandpaper to the next. Like we started with 5, then we're going to go up to 800, and then we're going to go to 8000. Now this is a lens and polish protector, which I'm not going to be relying on this anymore. We're going to go with a more permanent solution, like I said, like the vinyl or the ceramic. And in my opinion, especially for the DIY, the ceramic coating is the fastest, it's the easiest, and it's going to last. I mean, you're going to be happy with how long that lasts. But as you can see here, we've got these headlights all polished out, and that was with that hard plastic cleaner. So just the sandpaper, the hard plastic cleaner, and then the ceramic coating. And to me, that is the best method for restoring your oxidized headlights. But as you can see, these headlights came out really good, and they're going to look exactly the same. Like if you go through the 3-step process of sanding them and then buffing them out, they're going to look just like these when you're done. The only difference is we're going to be applying a ceramic coating over the top of that. But I would love to hear all you guys' opinions, and I will leave a link to this video you may want to watch all through that if you haven't seen it already. And also, I will have links to all the products that we discussed in the video description below, so you can find those easily.
Alright guys, well thank you for watching the Flat Rate Mechanic, and hopefully that cleared out some things on restoring your headlights. Any questions or comments, be sure to drop them in the comment section below. Also, if you have any tips or tricks on that can help any of the viewers out when it comes to restoring their headlights, be sure to comment below as well. Subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button. Till next time guys, thanks for watching Flat Rate Mechanic.